Kalila Yahweh. Ba Shema Mafshak Yahawashi. Shema Yasharela Yahweh Alahayana Katapamashpaka. Shalom, may peace, serenity, and prosperity be multiplied unto you all. This is going to be a quick lesson. I'm going to go ahead and get this out the way this morning so that you all may be blessed by the lesson. So we'll see here in Matthew chapter 6 and these several verses that we're going to cover that Yahawashi HaMashiach showed us how to start each day. Yes, he gave us the key on how to start each day. Now, with that being said, in the early parts of this chapter, I'll briefly review it. He shows us how to pray. And that's verses 5 through 13, which is Yahawashi HaMashiach's prayer. So that should be incorporated and starting each day, right? That should be your very first prayer to start your day, is Yahawashi's prayer. But in taking the appropriate attitude in starting your day, we're going to begin here in verse 25, which reads, "Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body than raiment?" So, first and foremost, we should be grateful for whatever we have, right? No matter what it is, you should be grateful and thankful for what it is that you do have. You know, you should be thankful for life, and you should be thankful for just being present, right? Not worried about the things that may help you sustain life, such as food and clothing, which he mentions here in verse 25. That's not the right way to start your day, okay? You shouldn't start your day worrying about any necessities of life. You should be grateful for life, and you should be grateful for being present. Verse 26, he gives more emphasis on that. He says, "Behold the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns. Yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they?" So the fowls of the air, the birds, they're not storing food up, right? They're not planting trees. They're not planting crops in order to eat. They're not storing any of that. Yet they're fed every day. So Yahawashi is telling us to take the same attitude because we are way more valuable than the fowls of the air. You shouldn't be caught up in how you're going to gather resources for you, your family, etc. You should know deep within the depths of your soul that the Father is going to provide for you. That's what Yahawashi is telling us here. Then he says, verse 27, which of you by taking thought, Salakia, which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit unto his stature? So he further emphasizes this and add context to how vain it is to be worrying about these things when you can't even add to your height by thinking about it and meditating on it. Then he says, and why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow, they toil not, neither do they spin. So now he even takes it a further step to the plants. The lilies of the field, they just sit there and exist, yet they receive everything that they need in order to exist. Verse 29, and yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. So they're beautified, and they don't work to become beautified. They don't do any of that. They don't worry about getting the appropriate nutrients to exist how they exist and to be how they be. And King Solomon, with all his glory and the blessings of his riches, wasn't even arrayed or presented like the lilies of the field. Meaning his glory, right? His presentation wasn't as beautiful as these lilies of the field that don't even work or worry about anything. They just exist. So Yahawashi is telling us here in verse 30, did I read verse 29? I'm just going to read it anywhere because I got so caught up in the spirit, I can't remember if I read it or not. But, and yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. So that's what we just talked about. Verse 30, wherefore if the Most High so clothed the grass of the field, which today is and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much clothe you? Shall he not much more clothe you, Salah, O ye of little faith? So why are you worried about clothes, food, and all the specific resources you need to function in life when you have the plants of the earth not worrying about nothing, just existing, and they receive everything that they need? That shows that you're lacking faith. Verse 31, therefore take no thought saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed? For after all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. So Yahawashi says the heathen thinks this way. The heathen is dependent upon all these resources. The heathen meditates on these things, right? So when you're moving as such, when you're thinking as such, you're already adopting the ways of the heathen. The heathen is worried about their riches, right? The heathen's worried about all these things that are of the carnal aspect. But he tells us the Most High knows what we need. He knows the things that we need. So why are we worried about it if we know that the Most High knows exactly what we need and he's going to take care of it? So to worry about these things is to not trust the Most High. You're showing a lack of faith. And without faith, it's impossible to please him. Verse 33. But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for tomorrow, for tomorrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. So with you taking thought and worrying about the future, you're already contributing to the evils that already exist throughout the world. You're making yourself an active participant in putting faith in your ability to get these things versus putting in the faith that the Most High is going to already supply you of these things. Yeah. Major key there. Major key. So if you find yourself in doubt, in fear, in worry, and anxiety on how you're going to get certain resources for yourself and for your children, you know, for your family, for those of your household, you should be meditating on Matthew chapter 6 every morning. You need to make this a part of your prescription, right? Make it just like the doctor will prescribe you medicine if you're sick. This chapter is a medicine for those who have anxieties of the future. You have anxieties of what the day may bring. You need to meditate on this entire chapter. This chapter should be read by you every morning until your faith builds up. You know, verse 25 is just the meat of it, but the entire chapter is good to meditate on, to start each day. So go ahead and store this into your spiritual armory. May peace, serenity, and prosperity be multiplied unto you all. Shalom.